So in this video, we're going to talk a bit more about the process that an avoidant will go through after a breakup or a separation so that you can have more insight into this type of person's and this attachment style's world so that you can make sense of it and so that you don't take it so personally, and also so that you can become aware of what happens when they actually realise that they've lost you, what they're likely to do and what you're likely to be able to expect when this happens, because there's so many different things that can happen. But I've seen this happen over and over again, and I have very closely observed people close to me go through this specific process when they actually realise that they've lost someone who was so highly attached to them and who had poured so much energy into the relationship. So this video is not supposed to be some kind of reassurance seeking or a way for you to go, ha ha ha, they're going to suffer in the end, because we don't want to do that at the end of the day. The best thing to do is kill them with kindness. So I want to give you this information so that you can have a better insight, so that you can know essentially how to protect yourself and what to look for going forward if this person is to come back, if they're to speak to you again, what you're actually looking for it to be able to move onto a different stage in your relationship, if that's what you want. Okay, so first of all, when you are out of a connection with an avoidant, it will feel very much like they don't care. It will feel like they've just shut down and you'll feel very rejected. You're highly likely to find this very, very hurtful. And it is. You've poured your heart into a relationship for however long you've done it. You've probably really fought for the health and the strength of this relationship. You've even seen their woundedness, wanted to be a safe space for them. And all of that feels like it was a total waste of time, which it wasn't, while you are going through the grieving process of this person having given up, right? The first thing that I want to say is that because of the way that they process things, which is to avoid, right? That's essentially what they do. They will most likely distract themselves in whatever way they can at first. I've watched it where avoidants have started smoking again. They're watching Netflix. They're planning future things that is going to make their life interesting. They're doing anything they can to really numb and push down those feelings. They engage in a lot of avoidance behaviours, basically. Maybe they're playing video games. Maybe they are going out more. Maybe they're drinking more. These are all sort of stereotypical things, but you might know this person better than me, and you'll know what they're likely to be doing to avoid the discomfort of their emotions. But there's a lot of distraction involved at the beginning, and initially they might feel very relieved because the pressure of the relationship, where the relationship might have been getting rocky, or there might have been arguments, they might initially think, oh, phew, I don't have to do that anymore, and I can just do all these other things that are a bit easier and don't require me to think about my emotions or tap into those difficult parts of myself. And they might initially blame you, which is horrible to be on the other side of it, because you know that you had absolutely the best intentions in the world and that you wanted this person to open their heart to you and that you were a safe space for them to do it with. So initially that can feel really, really painful, but see that actually they haven't lost the fact that you were a deeply loving person in their life. That's not gone away. They're just disconnecting from that right now to avoid that discomfort. So later on, as the pressure eases off and they realise that you're not speaking to them anymore, you're not reaching out, which I highly suggest that you do, because if you keep on reaching out to this person, they will use you to get over you. So you don't want that to happen. So essentially, when they realise that you're not talking to them anymore and that you're getting on with your life, and you actually energetically even feel that shift within yourself where you're like, oh my God, I'm done with it. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to convince someone to love me. I don't have to convince someone to understand me. I'm not going to put my energy in trying to get someone to love me anymore. And you actually take your power back. There is, even on an energetic level, there is a shift that happens. And I've experienced this myself. I know that whenever I've been in separation from someone, and I literally had this sort of this switch, like, I don't care. I actually don't care. That is when it's almost like clockwork. Like, immediately I thought, oh my God, I know I'm going to hear from this person now. And then I did, because essentially I'd let go of the outcome. I didn't need to hear from them. I was actually fine with it myself, because I'd used the time to feel better, to focus on my passions, to make my life whole again, to have other things that were giving me more life than trying to get blood out of a stone, essentially, with someone who wasn't willing or ready to do that with me. So I was feeling better and really enjoying my life. Wasn't even posting on social media or anything. And then, I get a message out of nowhere saying, I'm so sorry. I can see what I did wrong, and you're the best thing that ever happened to me. And I've seen it before where the anxious person is so completely switched off from any kind of hope or possibility for this person to ever change, and they've had enough, they're fed up. This is a completely different energy to what they were experiencing before, and what happens with them is it makes them panic, because what you've got to understand is that anxiety and avoidance is exactly the same thing, masked in different behaviors. So it's fear. It's fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of loss. They're just coped with in different ways. So when an avoidant realizes, oh my God, they actually are not coming back, they're actually moving on with their lives, they actually do think that they can have better, what the hell? And I've seen it happen where this avoidant person goes to the other extreme, can panic, ring lots of times, freak out, wonder what the hell is going on, cry, be on your doorstep. All these things can happen. But I'm not saying this again to reassure you or for you to be, necessarily excited about this, because sometimes this avoidant is so avoidant that they're not going to do that. They're not going to risk that. But I have seen it happen before, like the roles completely and utterly reverse. And you also might have experienced that too, going from anxiousness to avoidance in certain situations. Depending on what the dynamic is, each person will bring out a different type of behavior in us. And this is also true for if your avoidant ex or ex-partner or whatever jumps to another relationship and seems completely in love and seems completely fine. The reason for that is probably more than likely that they have actually found someone who's more avoidant than them or equally avoidant, so they feel safer than when they're with someone who is maybe anxious or more in touch with their emotions, because it doesn't threaten their emotional world so much. But inevitably this dynamic is still just as dysfunctional, right? So it creates stress and anxiety within them, and they're not working on themselves, they're not healing. So sometimes, in this situation, losing a partner who was so loving and so willing to work on the relationship can inspire a deep change. And it can be the consequence that leads them to going, oh my God, I need to work on me. But you have to be absolutely focused on you and know what you want and know what you don't want, which is why it's so important not to be like, oh, I'm going to wait around for this person to change, but actually just focus on what you want, what you actually want in a dynamic, not to hold out hope for them, because you literally don't have control over when or how they're going to come to this realization. And it's so important that you focus on the version of you that you want to be. Yeah, because this can energetically shift you, and then everybody feels that. And what you want in a relationship, who you want to be in a relationship, how much ease you want in your relationship. All of this stuff is going to bring the people, the places, the things into your life that align with that person that you want to be. Because that's manifestation 101, isn't it? Who we are being. Yeah. And if this person comes back around, you'll know, and you've won because you have become you. Yeah. And if not, you've won anyway, because you won't care anymore. So you win or you win. It's a win-win situation if you focus on you. So what I want you to know and what I want you to be aware of is that it is very common for an avoidant ex-partner to, at some point in the future, maybe it's weeks, maybe it's months, maybe it's in a year or two from now, I don't know, but it's very common for them to reach out again and say, I'm sorry, I miss you, I really messed up. But what you are looking for is real actionable change. So you're not looking for words. Words are cheap. You're looking for action, okay? That's what you need in order to know that this is a dynamic that you can actually put your energy into ever again, if that's what you want to do. But by then you might be very well be in a different place, and it's highly likely that you will have grown, you will have known, you will have understood your worth a lot more and what you're looking for in a relationship to work, and that this relationship actually teaches you a lot about what you don't want and what doesn't work for you. And if you focus on that rather than the attachment that you might have to this person or their potential, everything is more likely to change. So essentially, yes, they go through their own grieving period in their own way. And at first it does not look like they're doing that. It looks like they're just free, they're just happy, they're just moved on so easily. And that's really hurtful. But you've got to not take that personally. You've got to keep focusing on you. You've got to, like I say, kill them with kindness, kill them with your superpower that you are. And get on with your life, be the absolute king or queen that you are in your own life. Create massive abundance and miracles like you can without that draining energy pulling you back into something that, you know, is actually not serving you at the moment, and everything will become clear in time. And like I've said in other videos, and like I said in the last video, you've got to hand it over to God, hand it over to the universe for this connection to become clear, because there is truth in the fact that I've seen massive, incredible changes happen in dynamics like this, where there's been a break. It's actually been the massive catalyst that was needed for change. But either that, or both people, or at least you, are going to move on and find something better, you know, which is more aligned to you. So like I say, you win or you win. You're okay. Everything's fine. Everything's going to become clear in time. Right now, for the rest of the day, focus on you. And if it's the evening, light a candle, have a cup of tea, and really rest knowing that everything is happening exactly as it should. And you're learning the lessons, the meanings, the reasons, the connections to yourself that you need in order to create the relationship and the things and the abundance that you really want in your life. So if you would like to talk to me one-to-one about your specific situation, there's lots of coaching options on my website. I know these things can be complicated. I know there's lots of things that you want to understand more, and that's what I'm here for. And if you would like to manifest anything else, we can also talk about that. And I've got lots of courses, and I've got lots of different options and things coming up soon that are really exciting for you to get involved with. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.